Welcome to the PHNX Daily Bets Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download today using code PHNX and get $100 in free bets when you bet $1 or more on any NFL game and either team scores a point. I'm joined in studio for the first time by Johnny Venerable. Johnny, can I just get an awkward handshake right here? Come on, maybe like a finger one.
My bets are so damn elite this week. I had to come in and slap Shane in the face with my virtual bet card because they are so good, so tasty for you, America, for GoPHNX.com. I'm so excited.
It's going to be a fun one. So we should just get right into it. I mean, after all, it is Football Friday.
It is.
So let's get right into it. Johnny, why don't we see your bets first if they're so hot? What do you like this weekend for your Sunday
They're
sweats?
flipping hot. It's a little bit of hot garbage there with Jacksonville +3. That's a London game by chance. Devontae Parker and Xavier Howard out for the Dolphins. The Dolphins aren't any good. Jaguars, I think, have the better quarterback in that game with Trevor Lawrence. I like them +3 to get their first win since week 1 of 2020. The Rams -10 against Danny Dimes and a bunch of hot garbage with the Giants. That's a terrible team. I think Matthew Stafford could go for like 4 touchdowns. That's going to be a rout. Book it. And then the Cowboys -3.5. To me, the Cowboys could be one of, if not the best offense in the entire NFL. And against a New England team that can't score points, it's not a good combination. Book it. That's 3 for 3 on Sunday sweats.
We really like those, huh? We really like those.
I took a bunch of trash last week and almost made it.
I just think you're jagging off too much, if we're being honest.
They are usually the team that blows up everything that I do, but eventually I will be right about Urban and the Jaguars.
We might need to have an intervention for you, Johnny. All right, pull my sweats up. They're not meat sweats, though, because you had meat sweats last week, right? Or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I had a lot of Italian beef.
All right. I got Cardinals money line. It's a juicy +145. Johnny, you say they have to lose at some point. I just don't think it's going to be this week. I mean, it's a hard environment to play in against Cleveland, but to me, this team is so good right now. I mean, with the addition of Zach Ertz, obviously he's not playing on Sunday, but it just shows you they're out to win. And Kyler Murray's a different beast this year. Obviously, Nick Chubb isn't playing. They might not have Jadeveon Clowney. So I like the Cardinals money line is straight up. I think they cover the +3 anyway. But Cardinals money line is my first pick. Then I got the Chiefs -6.5. They're at Washington football team. WFT to me is a team that doesn't have an identity. Taylor Heineke isn't a great quarterback, and that defense is what's supposed to be carrying them, and they're just not. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I think they win easily by more than a touchdown, but we'll see. It's a 10 a.m. game, so it might be weird, but I like Mahomes to cover that 6.5. And then last one is Dallas at New England. The total's at 50.5. We'll get to my thoughts on Dallas in this game later in the show, but 50.5 is just too much for me because of New England. Their offense isn't great. I mean, Dallas might put up 38. I don't know if New England can put up 13.
I like that under pick. Yeah. And we don't usually touch unders on the show. We like to touch overs, if you know what I mean. But unders, to me, in this game feels appropriate, especially because Bill Belichick versus Mike McCarthy, that's a little bit of a mismatch. So I'm excited. Where are you? What is this? What's going on? What's my sign?
Are you a Virgo?
I'm an Aquarius. I was born on February 17th. Share the same birthday with Michael Jordan.
Wow. Is Michael Jordan a 5'6" hairy Italian man?
He is. Absolutely. We look almost identical.
All right. Well, let's get to our props. I'll go first. I got 2. I think Johnny only has 1, but it's a cute one. Davis Mills, under 216. He's only gone over 200 yards one game, and it was last game when he went for like 300 something. But I mean, come on, it's Davis Mills. He has to come down to earth, and they're playing the Colts in Indianapolis. The Colts
maybe Davis Mills is just good. Have we considered that?
No.
Okay. All right, sorry.
The Colts defense looked a lot better until they absolutely just kind of imploded against the Ravens last week. I think the Colts wake up a little bit, and I think Davis Mills doesn't eclipse that 216-yard mark. And it also wouldn't be a PHNX Daily Bet Show unless I didn't touch the Aaron Rodgers rushing yard total. I actually was thinking about the under. I'm going to go with the over this week for 5.5 rushing yards. I think he gets out of the pocket one time and scoots by. So we'll take that Aaron Rodgers 5.5 over rushing yards. Johnny, let's get to your single prop.
My single prop, it's extra spicy, extra tasty. Mark Andrews, first TD in the Baltimore, San Diego, Los Angeles Charger game, plus 900. If you watch what David Njoku did to this Charger defense a week ago, Mark Andrews, the Baltimore offense is operating as high as anybody right now. I think it's simply a matter of if Baltimore gets the ball first, I think they're going to score. The Charger defense is exhausted. I think between Hollywood Brown, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, it's one of the more explosive passing offenses. Who would have thought? So, I mean, at those odds at plus 900, you can put a mere $5, $10 bet and make a good amount of money and still feel good about it.
He looked like the best tight end in football last week.
He did, absolutely.
Went to my high school, by the way. Took the last roster spot on the varsity basketball team when I was a junior, and I got cut.
Mark Andrews
did. So did Kyle Allen, and we lost in the first round of the playoffs that year.
But we got you here with us, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an elite talent on the mic. An interesting thing about that game is so hard to pick. I think the line's 2.5. The Ravens are favored. But to me, that Chargers team looks good. Their defense doesn't. Their offense looks amazing. But Rashad Bateman might be back for. He looked so good in training camp.
He did.
And with Hollywood playing as well as he is.
Ravens, for whatever reason, it takes their rookie receivers like 3 years to get going. This is everybody thought Hollywood was a bust before this year. They've taken a countless other first-round wideouts that haven't panned out. I don't think he's going to be a factor this week. I loved him coming out of Minnesota, though. I wanted the Cardinals to draft him. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. And I just don't understand the stigma between everyone doubting the Ravens week after week after Lamar continues to do what he's doing.
Yeah,
Lamar has more total offensive yards than 15 NFL teams right now, I think. It's an insane stat. All right, well, it wouldn't be a bet show if we didn't talk about the DraftKings Sportsbook. So we're going to give you our DraftKings pick of the week.
Lock of the week. Is it lock of the week or pick of the week?
It's pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
I'm
being corrected.
Speaking of locks, we'll go to the Defen lock. I told you I'd mention this later in the show. It's the Cowboys minus 3.5. To me, this Patriots team can't score, and if you can't score against the Cowboys, the game is already over. Trayvon Diggs is another person that has more interceptions than most NFL teams.
Correct.
So and everyone likes to say, "Oh, he's just gambling and whatever," and like he gets burned sometimes. But I don't care. It's working. I mean, that's what this Cowboys team kind of is. It's a boomer bust offense and it's a boomer bust team. And Dak is leading this team really well. I think they cover the 3.5 easy.
Yeah, Mac Jones against the vaunted suddenly pass defense for Dallas. Trayvon Diggs. That's a mismatch, especially when you consider. I mean, the skill players for New England are awful. So I would be surprised if they're able to move the ball effectively. I like that pick. I like this pick more. Everybody had the Steelers as dead and buried. I still don't love them as an organization. I think they're limited. They get Seattle with Geno Smith this week. There's no Russell Wilson. That Seattle team is put together with sticks and glue. They're incredibly top-heavy. Outside of a couple nice skill players and maybe Carlos Dunlap and Jamal Adams, they're terrible. The Steelers are going to be able to run the football effectively with Najee Harris. Big Ben's going to be efficient in the pocket as long as he doesn't turn the ball over. I think in Pittsburgh, that's a double-digit bloodbath mid-third quarter, and they're begging Russell Wilson to come back as soon as he can.
Yeah, there were jokes that Russell Wilson was going to try to throw with his left hand because he was limited.
That might be more effective.
He was limited in practice just throwing with the left hand. That Seattle defense is the worst in the NFL. It is so bad. They cut Trey Flowers, their long-term cornerback, who has been griped at for years and years to get cut, and they finally did it. Sidney Jones is going to fill his role, but he's a subpar guy. I don't think there's a fix for that defense, especially if Jamal Adams continues to play the way he is. I mean, those 2 first-round picks that they sent to the Jets are looking juicier and juicier every day. I agree with that. I don't think we're going to see a Geno Smith game, but you never know.
At what point do you blow it up if you're Seattle, which is great to say. I love it. I haven't been able to say that in about a decade. I think Russell Wilson, to me, is their safety blanket to quick start this rebuild. You ship him out to a Pittsburgh in the offseason or somebody like that, recoup those assets and start over. Because this is the Cardinals division now. It's not your Seattle.
Yep. This is the thing, though. They have a very easy schedule coming up. So what their mentality is, if Geno Smith can steal a couple games, then they're right in the playoffs. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen.
No chance.
Especially, I mean, even if Russ comes back later, I just don't see it. Well, if you want to get in on the action and you want to participate in our bets and you want to follow us blindly, which I suggest you do because, it's Johnny Jackpot over here. I don't know. I don't suggest.
I've been on fire lately. You have to admit that.
The Italian-blooded man is out for blood himself. You can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use that promo code PHNX. You can get $100 in free bets if you bet just $1 on any NFL game and either team in that game scores a point. The last 0-0 tie in the NFL was in the 40s. So I like that a lot.
You remember that game? Where you were when that game was on?
Do you remember that game? Jacob, do you remember that game?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I was listening on my radio.
Your ham radio?
My ham radio.
You got a trucker?
I'm 145 years old. None of that happened.
I wouldn't be surprised if you were a vampire.
If I was just like an old man trapped in this body.
A vampire. You're like a mortal. You're always this age.
I appreciate that.
Maybe you're shrinking every year.
I am getting smaller. My grandfathers are both like, one of them when he passed was like 5'3", and the other one who's still alive, he's in his 90s, he's like 5'4". So I'm 5'6.5", and I will probably continue.
If you want to bet on the over/under in Johnny's heights, I don't think that DraftKings has that prop available, but I'd probably take the under by the time of his passing.
The great news is you can't see how short I am in studio. I look like I'm parallel to Shane.
DraftKings is safe, secure, reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw cash whenever you want. So download it today. Use that promo code PHNX. Get your $100 in free bets if either team that you bet on in an NFL game scores 1 point. 21 plus, Arizona only, gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only, eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Johnny, are you excited to be writing a recap of the Cardinals win on Sunday?
Well, I picked them to lose, so no. It's the first time I picked them to lose all season. I am excited. I wrote an article, GoPHNX.com, about Steve Keim and how even with the injuries pending this team with Rodney Hudson, Max Williams, and, of course, Chandler Jones being out this week, the rebuilt roster that he's put together should be commended. And that was before the Zach Ertz news broke that we were tipped off. Go ahead.
Can I just give you credit?
Yeah.
Johnny called the Zach Ertz trade last night. He said verbatim that they would send a 5th-round pick and a conditional 4th.
And a conditional 4th. I was off slightly with my compensation. It's hard to project players being dealt in that deal. But they had interest dating back to the offseason. And then, last night they showcased him for everybody, and then he's crying after the game. And I'm like, okay, this is happening. It makes too much sense not to happen. He's got ties to Arizona. Kudos for Steve Keim, man. Go check out the article, GoPHNX.com. The guy has rebuilt the Cardinals and his public image here in the Valley.
I have a public image to keep as well. Do you want to grab that?
Oh, man. This is a gorgeous piece of hardware right here.
I wanted to send you home with that if you wanted it.
I don't probably throw this in the garbage later.
2005 Little League World Champions. All right, guys. Appreciate you for joining us as always. This is the PHNX Daily Bets Show. We'll be back on Monday to recap the picks. We'll also be in studio on Sunday. Me and Johnny joined by Saul for our tailgate show at 9 a.m. Come hang out. I'm going to try to get Johnny pissed drunk so he can fall asleep.
I'm very professional. I don't know if you guys have been aware of that, but I keep everything here together. And so
what is everything here?
Just everything right here
around you?
In a digital sense and a physical sense.
Wildly out of control, so I don't think you keep everything here.
No. Tune in tonight. Also watch the tailgate show, but tune in tonight, 6 p.m. Myself, Kirsten Susel, live from Cleveland. Also, the great Frank Sanders, Cardinals PHNX, Cardinals podcast. We're going to be talking all things Cardinals Browns. It's exciting.
And follow us on our socials. You can follow me at Shane Deef. You can follow Johnny at Johnny Venerable. You can follow our bet show at PHNX_bets. You can follow Jacob somewhere on social media, but it doesn't matter. Thanks for joining us as always, and we'll see you next time. Peace.